joined today by Rob Waugh, Managing Director of Musgrave Minerals. Rob, thanks for your time.
Thanks, David. Good to be here and great to chat.
It's been a busy 12 months, as always, for Musgrave, but no more so than the last 12 months.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 3 drill rigs out on the 100% ground at the moment drilling, an aircore rig, RC rig, diamond rig. We've got a diamond rig as well on the joint venture with Evolution, so very active. The lead into all this is really a next resource update. So what we want to do is put a resource update on the new discoveries, the Big Sky discovery where we've hit great grades over about 2 kilometres of strike. The drilling's all in the top 120 metres there recently, so it'll be just the sort of open cut component of a resource. And the same at Whiteheat and Mosaic where we've had recent intersections around 15 metres at 100 grams. So that again, the intent is to drill more in that in the next few weeks. That'll then build into the resource as well for that. That's the same time frame. So we're looking at top 120 metres added to the resource, those 2 new deposits, and early June is the timing on those.
Does a new resource or an upgraded resource give the market the ability to give a better valuation for the company, measuring the ounces to a dollar ratio?
Yeah, absolutely. That was what people look at and how to compare you to somebody else and what's the value per ounce of your ounces versus somebody else's. The value that we think is there is not necessarily derived in the current market price, but that's for the market to decide in the end. But for our perspective, high grades close to surface in Western Australia is quite unique. There's not too many companies that have really high grade, close to surface, open cuttable, and in a really good jurisdiction. So we think we're in quite a niche market there. So we want to continue to build the resource. It's important for everyone to note as well that this is another interim step. We want to get to a million ounces. That's the aim for us. We're at 660,000 ounces now. We think the next resource update in early June won't get necessarily to that mark, but it'll be top 120 metres and there'll be a lot more to find below that. And we also have a pipeline of projects coming in that will then build up and have been additional resources, we think, as well. So we're trying to do a lot of things at once here, but the end goal is to be in a position where we can make some decisions around a standalone development.
You're in a rising gold price environment. From a physical point of view, do you think that will trickle through to the explorers and developers and better rate those stocks?
Yeah, look, I think so, David. I think we have seen that. Particularly, the gold price has been a little bit volatile, but at a really high base level, and that's been a really good thing for the market. We are seeing some pressures on costs. They're starting to come through, supplies, also wages. We are seeing those costs come through, so that's taking a little bit of that margin away. The positive side is we think there is still a lot of value in the gold resource space at the moment, both in producers and the developers, explorers. So we think there's a value in there. Some of the things that is taking that money away that would normally probably come into the gold market is some of the crypto, and we're also seeing that most commodities are actually up at the moment. So it's very uncommon in the market to see all commodities up at once, but that's what we're seeing. So people have got money going in all sorts of different directions. So that may change over time. And when it does, if gold prices hang in there as it is now, and we think it will in a pretty volatile world space at the moment, it should be pretty good for gold in 2022.
So at the moment there's a lot of choice because everything's up, but everyone safe havens back to gold at some point in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a good long-term bet. But I'm a gold bull and I'm in the gold space, so I'm not necessarily the one to believe, but people should do their own research, but I'm very bullish on gold.
Speaking of bullish, Musgrave, what's the plans the next 12, 18 months?
Yeah, first step is a resource update. A lot of drilling at the moment, resource update, late May, early June. From there, we can make some key decisions about where to continue to drill to define resources below top 120 metres. Still very mineable depths, still relatively shallow really within the industry. From there we want to get to that million ounce mark. Whether we define the path to production before we get to the million ounce mark or not, we'll decide on that over the next short interim steps. But a lot of drilling for the whole year. PFS as well, we've got some work happening on that in the background, but it's not a full PFS at this stage. We want to cut short those long lead time items. But a key component of that is obviously having the resource of Big Sky and White Heat, and we need to have those because they will need metallurgy, they'll need design work, they'll need a lot of things happening as well in the PFS environment. So all that happening back in the end of the year, but it looks really positive for us, and definitely de-risking the project. That's a key element for the market to understand, is you're de-risking this project, which means you're getting closer to production.
Tier 1 jurisdiction, a Tier 1 asset, exciting times ahead for Musgrave and its shareholders. Rob, thanks for your time.
Great to be here. Thanks, David.